have another thing coming.
Death, then.
Looks that way.
Very well. Death! By exile.
You captured Zone A. You captured Zone A.
You know we got it, nigga. Yeah. Kill potent, got them niggas choking. They can say whatever, couldn't say I haven't spoken. Niggas after money, I don't understand the notion. Did it, had to do it, had to pull a lot of motion. So when I be in that pussy, it be wetter than the ocean. Kill a motherfucker, send them all of my condolences. I ain't got a heart cause I was born and it was broken. Threw away the pieces, ain't affected by emotion. Oh, she led the way I touch her when the mother take a trip to Georgia in the summer. Got some hoes in different colors like a passionate pacifist catching me gallivanting rough with these women nakedly. Why? Probably cause I'm sick in the mind. Why they let the beast out the box? Shawty give me top till I pop. Little nigga bitch and never give a fuck about a nigga. I was in the army.
Now what will it be? Death or exile?
Crane, if you think we're going out onto that ice willingly, you have another thing coming.
Death, then.
Looks that way.
Very well. Death! By exile.
You captured Zone A. You captured Zone A.
You know we got it, nigga. Yeah. Kill potent, got them niggas choking. They can say whatever, couldn't say I haven't spoken. Niggas after money, I don't understand the notion. Did it, had to do it, had to pull a lot of motion. So when I be in that pussy, it be wetter than the ocean. Kill a motherfucker, send them all of my condolences. I ain't got a heart cause I was born and it was broken. Threw away the pieces, ain't affected by emotion. Oh, she led the way I touch her when the mother take a trip to Georgia in the summer. Got some hoes in different colors like a passionate pacifist catching me gallivanting rough with these women nakedly. Why? Probably cause I'm sick in the mind. Why they let the beast out the box? Shawty give me top till I pop. Little nigga bitch and never give a fuck about a nigga. I was in the army.
Now what will it be? Death or exile?
Crane, if you think we're going out onto that ice willingly, you have another thing coming.
Death, then.
Looks that way.
Very well. Death! By exile.
You captured Zone A. You captured Zone A.
You know we got it, nigga. Yeah. Kill potent, got them niggas choking. They can say whatever, couldn't say I haven't spoken. Niggas after money, y'all don't understand the notion. Did it, had to do it, had to pull a lot of motion. So when I be in a pussy, it be wetter than the ocean.
Yo, what is up, Warheads? It's your boy Exile Beast back with another one. I got my boy Exile Demon here as well. We are doing what? This is our third week of the Exile podcast. Successful. Very, very successful. I want to welcome Exiled Cat and Exiled Blur, aka Exile Shadow. You feel me?
It's Blur.
It's Blur.
It's still Blur.
Oh, shit. All right. We're going to just go ahead and just lead off with the questions, okay? Let me let y'all know what we're doing today, though. We have the Peaky Blinders for our game, our show review.
Game?
We have Dead by Daylight for our game review. Hit us. And we got How I Got Reincarnated as a Slime for our anime review. So be on the lookout for that shit as we go along. Who we gonna start with, Demon? The decision is yours.
He's passing the
We
mic
usually
over
start
to
up with the origin, you know? So,
Yeah, which
so we
one?
just go ahead and get into it.
Let's
We
do
hit
it.
Hey.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I know you got some questions drawn up.
So, I'm actually... Blur, you've been in exile for a hella long time, bro. I know you go by Shadow now, but I've always known you as Blur.
Everyone still calls me Blur
So.
too, so it's not unusual. I usually hear Blur more than I hear Shadow. So
What's up, Gustavo?
Oh. So simply for that, right? I never got to know you before Exile, so I'm curious, you know, like what your old Exile, like not Exile, but what your old like gamer tag was, you know, and like why you swapped it over to Blur, and you know what happened with all that.
well, my name has actually always been Blur. My original gamer tag was actually BLKBLUR12, which was more of an abbreviation for BLK for Black Blur 12. For some reason, I have no idea why. Like, at least like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even longer than that, I just had a name. I thought that was a really cool name to have, and so I ended up just having to making an account, and it had that name on it.
Black Blur. I thought you was trying to be like. I thought you were saying that you were a shadow because you're a black blur that can't see you that quickly. I mean, but shit.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I changed my name. Well, I changed it to like you guys all know me as Blur because you guys have known me with that name for so long. But like in real life, my nickname in real life was actually Shadow. People would call me Shadow.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it made sense when you switched it to Shadow to me, because that's what I thought the black blur was. I was like, okay, it's a Shadow.
And that was also another one of the reasons, because that's where people would think the black blur was just a shadow going through, and I thought about it, and I was like, that my real name, my nickname in real life is Shadow, and that's what you guys think of when you heard black blur and then or blur, you always thought of it like a shadow. So that's why I just ended up changing it to Shadow fully.
Wow.
See, when I always thought of blur, bro, I always thought of like police lights, like how they reflect off like the windshield and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all blurry and shit, bro. I don't know. That's just what always came to mind was like some police lights like in the distance or like some rave lights or something, bro. I don't know. I had a lot to do with like light. It never really came to mind of like Peter Pan type shadow.
Peter Pan type shit.
Move, girl.
I didn't even think of, only you could think of that. Only you.
So, Kat, what about you? What was your name before Exiled, and why?
Before Exiled, my name was Liddy Kitty.
Hey.
I actually have a funny story behind it. My nickname in high school, everybody used to call me Kitty because I acted like a cat so much, and I would just take naps in random places. I was always sleepy.
Bunch of cat naps.
All the time. Literally, I hated class so much that I would rather just be napping. And I was guilty of saying lit a lot or litty titty. I don't know why, and I don't know how that started. It's just something that caught on eventually, and all my friends started doing it. And I guess one day somebody had misspoken, and instead of saying litty titty, they said litty kitty, and I was like, hey, that has a nice rings to it.
That's me, actually.
That's me.
I get
This
it.
is now copyrighted. It is now owned by the me. So when I started Xbox, it just kind of transpired into being Liddy Kitty. All of my friends would either call me Lit Cat or just Liddy or Kitty, and I was just like, all right, I can fucks with this.
Yeah, shit. I would have put it on too.
It was really catchy and something that would just like, stick in your brain after hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
You just couldn't stop saying it once you said it once either. It just rolled off the tongue so well.
Yeah, so your gamer tag really went with your personality.
Yeah, like I was always a very fun person, super out there, and I guess it just kind of transpired into it, gave a little piece of my character.
Yep, that's the kind of gamer tag that you want. Something that represents
Right?
you.
So,
No, go ahead.
oh, but yeah, keeping the cat aspect just kind of stuck.
Yeah, plus goddamn Xbox won't let you put the name that you actually want. Exile Liddy Kitty, you know what I'm saying?
Because Xbox has to be the douche, pretty much.
Why
I
they gotta
really
do us like
wanted
that?
Liddy Kitty, but I couldn't do that because of the characters now, so I'm just like Liddy Cat, and I'm like,
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't roll off the tongue, there's no finesse there, like, come on.
Okay, this one's gonna be for both of you, but we'll start with Shadow first. Who was the first person that you met in Exiled?
Now, do we want to go before?
You can go back as long as you want, because obviously I know, but this is for everyone else.
Well, that's funny. The funny thing is I didn't even meet Beast first. That was the funny thing.
Yeah.
No, literally. But that was because I actually met Beast through his wife. Because Beast used to live out here in Arizona with me, but I worked with his wife. His wife was actually my boss.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And so I knew Stacy before, and she I was talking to somebody one day. We were talking about a game, and she asked me if I played if I played video games like online or anything. And I'm like, yeah, I play Xbox with my friends and stuff like that. And then she introduced me to Beast, which obviously is her husband, and he played a lot, and that's actually how I met Beast, was actually through Stacy.
Back in the COD days.
She was my boss. Yeah. That was a real long time ago.
Yeah, that was fucking years ago. I want to say 5 years. 5 years ago.
No,
Probably
longer than that.
Pushing 6.
'Cause it was.
Oh yeah, obviously it was before King was born. So it was like 8 years ago.
It was definitely. It was way
God
before.
damn.
I think it was 2 years before King was born.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is. Yeah, it was 8 years ago. Damn, time moves fast. Fuck, I'm actually old. Oh my god.
Fuck, I'm old.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So that's how he got in contact with the Exile. It was basically Exile Beauty was his first one.
Yeah. Or
So,
at that time, her name was Nakey Pumpkin at that time.
Yep. Yeah, well,
Like long.
So, going along with that, I know I've heard this story, but simply for the fact that we're bringing up the fact that you worked with his wife and everything, I gotta hear the cheesecake story.
I'll let you explain it, Blood.
Right. Okay. So basically, I'm allergic to cream cheese.
Oh, wait, hold on now. Hold on. I can't let him go with this. Hold on now. Okay. That's exactly what we said. When we asked him if he was allergic to cheesecake, he said it's the cheesecake itself, not an ingredient. That's what got me. Now it's cream cheese. Okay. I'll let you finish.
It's always been cream cheese, but
No, it wasn't.
talking like I said that specific because you guys were specifically talking about cheesecake. Like, can you have cheesecake? I'm like, no, I'm allergic to cheesecake.
Oh
because
my
you guys are
god.
asking specifically about it. But
This
I'm
is why you
actually
record
allergic
people.
This is
It
why
was a
I
big ordeal.
I'm actually allergic to cream cheese itself. I'm not allergic to anything else in it. Like, I don't have a dairy problem or anything like that. I can eat cheeses, ice creams, everything else just fine. But it's whatever's in cream cheese. I just can't have it. If I have it, my throat will literally swell up so fast and I can't breathe.
Well, that makes the story way less funny, and it wasn't what happened, okay? Now nobody would have been saying anything if he's like, oh, I'm allergic to cream cheese. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. He said he was allergic to the cheesecake itself, and we were just like, that doesn't make sense. There's an ingredient in there.
I am allergic to cheesecake.
You're allergic to cream cheese. I mean, yeah, you need that ingredient to make it, but you know what I mean. You knew what we meant.
Oh, I know. I was just because at that time they were talking about the cheesecake, so I was like, yeah, I'm allergic to cheesecake. I know I can't have it. I know I can't have that. I knew I can't have like certain things.
That's
I knew I
such
couldn't
a
have
miserable
certain
life.
things,
Like,
but
I love
didn't know.
cheesecake
I didn't know
way too
specifically.
much.
Me too.
I didn't
Think of a
know
life
specifically
like
it
that.
was cream cheese, like specifically at that time. I think I didn't know exactly what it is. I knew what I couldn't have, but I didn't know they all had cream cheese in it, and that was what I was actually allergic to.
Yeah, it was 8 years ago, bro. So I mean,
Yeah.
I understand. I'm just at the time it was the funniest shit.
Oh, dude, it was, and I literally got it like every day. So much crap every day for it.
It was a while before we let it die down.
Yeah, no, a couple years before they let me try to live it down.
Bro, I heard this shit like 7-8 months ago, and the way I got explained was Beast was telling me the story about like how, you guys work together and shit, and then he was like, well, one day they took like cheesecake in and was like offering it to all the workers, and Blur was like, no, I'm allergic to cheesecake, and I'm sitting here like, how the fuck are you allergic to cheesecake? That is like the best thing in the world.
And it was after he ate some though too. It was after he ate some because then he asked like, wait, it's just cheesecake?
Nobody told me it was cheesecake.
He ate it so fast.
It was cake. They just told me it was cake. And I was like, oh yeah, I want some cake. Heck yeah. Like,
It was just so
like,
funny.
yeah, I want some cake, and then all of a sudden I couldn't. It was hard for me to breathe. I couldn't breathe.
He had to
very
go
well.
home, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting there like starting to gasp for air. And I'm like, I don't know why. And then they told me it was cheesecake, and I'm like, oh, I'm allergic to this.
It was so
Was
crazy.
it good though?
But I mean, I get it now. I get it.
Was it
Cream
worth it?
cheese.
Was it good?
No, it was not worth it. I can tell you that for sure. It was not worth it.
Shadow, we can't.
I'd rather live than die. Okay?
I'd rather die eating cheesecake.
All
I've
right.
never had. That was literally my only time I ever had cheesecake. I didn't even really get to taste it because my whole throat was swollen up and I couldn't breathe. I didn't really get to taste it.
I gotta go home. All right. But moving on to you, Kat. Same thing. Who was the first person you met in Exile?
The first person I met in Exiled was Death when he was still a member.
Okay.
I met him through one of my mutual friends because they had invited me into a party. I believe we were playing like PUBG at the time, and we were fucking around and not taking like anything seriously. We were literally just fucking around, and Death had joined the party and started just talking because he heard like me and my friend going off because we were throwing grenades back and forth at each other, like playing fucking dodgeball with this shit.
What game were y'all playing? PUBG,
We
you
were
said?
playing PUBG.
Oh my god.
And we were on the same team, just throwing grenades at each other.
What the hell?
And driving cars off of cliffs just to test and see if we die.
They were damn trolling the lobby and shit.
I remember getting the go-kart, and one of my friends was sitting on the back, and we were just shouting something so weird. I think it was a wee-how.
What the fuck?
We were just wee-how! Anytime we do something weird. And Demon was like, what the fuck in the god name wee-how bullshit is this? And I was like, this is the sum of whenever you put us in a party together. He's like, noted. And then we just started talking. I said that I had gotten bored of PUBG, that I was gonna go hop over on For Honor, and he was like, oh, bet. You play For Honor. What do you play? And I was like, I play a fucking weeb. Because it represents the me. And he's like, you play a fucking shinobi? Don't tell me you're fucking cancerous. I was like, I don't know.
I've never...
He fucking faces up against my shinobi, whips my ass in the first match, and I was just like, alright, I was warming up, and he's just like, sure. And then the second and third match, dude, I came in so fucking hard, and he was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this bullshit?
He
I
would say some
fucking
shit like
guard
that.
broke.
He would say some shit
I
like that. That was
fucking
his...
guard broke.
That was his thing.
Hello,
Where's my fucking
grab
parry?
me. Where's my fucking shield? Hello? And he was just raging, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And I looked at my friend, I was like, dude, I just made your friend rage, and I feel so bad. And he's just like, nah, he does that. You get used to it after a while. And I was like, I don't know how I handle this.
Yeah, that was death. So I mean, I don't know how you would have handled it, but what you said was pretty significant, though.
The cheesy shit.
I have yet to play a game separate from For Honor and find somebody who plays For Honor. That was like a fucking... I don't know how the hell he did that one.
Well, because I was getting like really bored, and I was like, alright, PUBG's boring, I'm trolling, and I'm just getting too many kills. I want to go and die by ganks.
Yeah, that was the life.
I was like, I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's fucking go.
That was the fucking life. You got some
And then after
questions,
that-
Demon? No, go ahead, Kat, if you're still going.
Oh, well, Death was the first person I met, and then after that, I met Demon and Meta and Venom. I instantly clicked with Venom and Demon more so than Death and Meta, which I'm sure that they caught on to as well.
For good reason. I mean, for good reason. For a fact.
Or don't get me
That's
wrong,
nice
I'm still
smoke,
close to Death, and I still talk to him. He's fucking chill, but it's like... You could tell when I was first meeting you guys that there was a little bit of a gap there because I guess he was like slightly jaded. He was like, I knew you first. I don't know why you're always talking to them. If you want to play, you can always play with me. And I was like, I don't know, they're just funny. And they all rage like 24/7.
Yeah, I mean it just that's just how it works. I mean,
They're in it for the memes.
you know what though? I can't say I appreciate him for pulling you in, because if it wasn't for him, you would have never even known who we were.
Definitely.
So we'll always have him for that. Okay, moving on to a more harder question. Okay, this is gonna be for both of you guys, but we're gonna start with Shadow first again. What is your favorite game to play in general? Your favorite game to play
In general. That's kind of a tough
Man,
one,
don't make me
honestly.
choose that.
Yeah,
I'm
making you choose.
That's a real tough one, to be honest.
I can't.
Because-
That's like asking which of my side chicks has the fatter ass, man.
Oh, is that so?
Can't do that.
He said, "Is that so?"
They each are packing in their own departments, man. Some days I'm feeling the thighs, some days I'm feeling the breastises, some days I'm feeling the ass. Like, come on, man.
It do be like that. Let him know.
It do be like that sometimes.
I do.
Oh man.
I
Well,
truly do.
if I had to choose my favorite game, oh
Don't
man,
do
it's
it. It's a trap.
it's a hard one, honestly.
Well, just
But I would
answer to the
probably-
best of your ability.
I would probably
It
have
would
to
be
say.
like
I would
when you're
probably
really
have to
thinking
say
about.
COD. It would probably be my favorite one because I'm always going. That's a game that I always go back to.
And you grew up playing it.
Yeah. My
True.
first one I actually started
Nostalgia.
was on my first time I played COD was actually Call of Duty 3 was my first time I ever played a COD. Now the first time I played online, that was actually Modern Warfare 2. So I went through 2 games not playing the online, but I played the campaigns like a lot to where I literally had the Call of Duty 4, the Modern Warfare, like 100% completed with all the intel, all the unlockables.
Yep.
Like I had everything in that game done. I had beaten the time trial, the time score trial, what thing that they had for the campaigns at that time for that game. I had that fully completed with some of the best time that there was. So it's like it'd probably have to be COD because that's really what I grew up and I continuously go back to it.
I mean, yeah, there's only a few games out there that you can grow up playing that are still solidly relevant now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty lucky.
And like, I love playing For Honor too. Like I love playing For Honor, but it's like the game is like it's like a love-hate kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
it's
most
a good
definitely.
game, but it's so rage-inducing that you don't want to play it ever again.
Right.
It's also really
But then you come back.
repetitive,
But then
too.
you come back like a couple days later after you were mad from it.
Anybody who really plays it, that's what I said, who has really played it, you're gonna have that love or hate relationship because the game isn't what it can be. It's just what it
Yeah.
is, what you've been playing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that
But
makes
I feel
sense.
like that's more games than just For Honor, you know? Like, you have Apex, which is also the daily repetitive grind and rage, and, like, COD, for example, you have that, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I definitely get what you're saying. So your game, your
I do
favorite
gotta
game?
say-
Go ahead.
You would not rage at a game if you did not love it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
If the
Because you
game
don't
was
care.
was passionate
truly
about,
ass,
do you
you would
really
just
get
shut it off,
upset?
bro, and be like, I'm fucking selling this thing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
agree.
facts. You can't hate it if you never loved it.
That's facts.
Yep. That's facts on that one.
Hard facts.
What about you, Kat? Now you got this hard choice to make.
I can't.
Break
I'm
it
gonna
down.
make so many of my side bitches upset.
Hey. That's why they on the
I
side.
mean,
They're
No
recently on the
attachment.
side.
I mean, I love them all, don't get me wrong. Like, all the games that I will download and still play have a special place in my heart. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I've always been one for like horror genre and shit like that, and lore or mystery. So my game of choice is obviously Dead by Daylight, if it wasn't already abundantly clear. Like, I love for the fact that they just incorporated Pyramid Head, because Pyramid Head was one of my all-time fucking favorite killers aside from Jason Voorhees.
Oh, you talking about the dude from Silent Hill?
Uh-huh.
The dude who rips people's skin off their body. I know who you're talking about now.
They do indeed.
Yeah.
That shit'll freak you out.
Yeah, but like Silent Hill was also I think the first horror movie I actually watched all of the sequels to it as well. Like, I didn't just like watch one movie and be like, oh, that's shit, I'm not watching it again, you know what I mean? Like, I actually watched all of them. I was interested enough to keep watching them, and I was like, oh, yes, give me more movies.
Did they have more than two? I don't mean to cut you off, but I only saw two.
No, you're totally fine. There's also the video games and just the whole fucking lore behind it. There's a lot of psychology packed in that shit for Silent Hill. It's fucking ridiculous.
Holy shit.
Yeah. If you actually read into it, I think Wiki has a whole page dedicated to the Silent Hill lore and everything. If you read into it, shit's fucked.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read into it, because I always wanted to understand why that happened over there. Like, I understand the shit about the little girl, but why that shit happened to the whole...
The little girl was just the fuel to the fire, so to say. Like, what really fucking turned everything. The games incorporate a lot from another perspective. I forgot the dude's name, but he's the reason for the nurses, for why shit's the way that it is, why some of the fucking aspects, like the creation for some of the creatures, pretty much.
Okay. I'm gonna definitely have to do some of that. If you could send me some links on the lore, that would be sick.
Oh, definitely.
I did not know it went that deep.
Dude. It's a whole rabbit hole, to say the least. Like, I could go on for hours talking about it.
Well, we definitely will get around to Dead by Daylight, because you are the special guest of the day for it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. This is gonna be even more hard than the last one. What is the game? We'll start with you this time, Kat. What is the game that turned you into a gamer? Because obviously you're already in exile, so we know you're a gamer. But what is that game that really made you be like, all right, this is the shit I'm probably gonna do for the rest of my life?
Oof. There was actually quite a few. The first game I ever played, though, something that Tara might like hearing, the first game I ever played was a game called Dragonborn. And it was basically a MMO RPG kind of game. You get this character, and you're going into the Grey Wardens, which is supposed to save you from the Blight, which is darkness, basically. Dragon Age, yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit, man.
Holy shit.
Dragon Age was the first game I ever bought and ever played all the way through. Like, I did all the fucking side missions. I got, like, all the side quests for the people and the followers. I got every fucking follower that I possibly could. Like, I loved that game to bits. It actually also awakened me to the world of, like, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and I really got into that. It opened up, like, my creative portal, so to say, as my grandfather always used to call it. That was the first game that I remember studying so hard and getting an A so that they could buy me a game.
I mean, that game, Dragon Age, I've heard by a lot of people, not on our podcast, but I've heard by a lot of people that that's their favorite game they've ever played. Dragon Age is just like perfectly made.
Dude,
I've never played it.
You should. You really should.
Dude, I will
if you
give
get
you my
into
account
like
so you can
Elder
play
Scrolls
all
and
of
shit
them.
like that, I think you'd really like it.
Well, I
Granted,
might have to
like the
give it a shot.
graphics are a little bit older, because Dragon Age is
Yeah,
an
but
older game
I
from like early 2000s, but like, dude, it's such a fucking good, and the story arc is so fucking beautiful, and it keeps you hanging on the edge of your seat, and every choice that you make matters. And I think that's what I really like about that game too, because you could have people hate you and leave you until you're completely alone with no followers.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
you need followers to help you out in some of these boss battles and some of these quests. Some of them offer information that you didn't even know.
That's sick. I mean, that's something that should kind of be implicated in every type of MMORPG, if you ask me. That shit is sick.
Definitely. There were also a bunch of other games that I had like really good experiences with. Like I remember my first time playing with my uncle. My uncle was like early in his 20s, like 22, 23, and I was a little pleb at the time. Never had touched an Xbox in my life. I was always playing on my PS3 that was so outdated I couldn't play with anybody online. So
Oh my god.
and I remember my first time was playing Nazi zombies with my uncle and just blasting the battlefield. And he was just like, "You're definitely my niece. Holy shit." And I was like, I didn't even know I could do that good. But it was just a bunch of games. I think the first game that just solidified that I really wanted to get into this and really had a passion for it was playing Dead Space.
Dead Space I did play. Dead Space was really good. That's a hard game.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
It
I
was
remember
that.
my first time playing that, I turned it on and I was like, holy fuck, and I turned it off and I took a couple seconds. I was like, oh my god.
They had like how many of those? 3 or just 2?
Three.
3. I didn't play the other 2. I only played the first Dead Space, and it was good.
Oh, the dude.
Dead Space was a great game.
Definitely.
It was good. I definitely want to stay up to date on any more horror games coming out, so I can fucking
Definitely
try one.
Halo as well. Halo was fucking really good as well. Except for the one game that we all know that was just kind of like, not mentioning names.
Yeah, we don't have to say it. We know it. we know it.
Only the truest of gamers know it at heart.
But
it
since
just wasn't the same.
Since you did bring up Halo, though, I do want to ask, so what does it look like for you with Halo Infinity? You think you're buying it, picking it up?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good. And that's another good. That might be another clan rotation game, because there's a couple people who said they were picking it up. I know I'm getting it as well.
I'm definitely picking it up when the money's there to do it. And I haven't touched Halo in so fucking long. I'm in it for the nostalgia, and I really hope that they didn't fuck it up.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Let's hope that...
Like, from what I've seen from the trailers, it looks like it's gonna be an absolute fucking banger. But you know how trailers can sometimes be very fucking misleading.
Yep. Misconstrue the details a little bit. Now moving over to you, Shadow. And you can pick up whenever, Demon. Moving on to you, Shadow. What is the game that turned you into a gamer?
Well, different from cats. Mine's not so much of like a happy beginning.
Okay, go in detail.
So basically, when I was real young, my parents were always fighting and always arguing, which led to their divorce. And so, as a child, I never really had the comfort of. I was never comfortable anywhere at either house because I was constantly moving from house to house, frequently between both parents.
In between arguments.
Well, in between arguments, going back and forth between each parent. So, different houses, different rules, different parenting styles, different expectations, just different everything. So me and my sister was younger, so it didn't really affect her much, but it affected me because I was old enough to understand.
Right.
I was old enough to understand it and what was going on. But it was my first game, which this pretty much helped me because I wasn't comfortable, and even like my parents have talked to, what do you call them? Like therapy people. I don't know their exact name, but they're the therapy people though. They said, and they've talked to many different ones, and they've all said that me and my sister should have actually gone like insane because of the housing arrangements and everything that was going on. They say that we should be, we should have not be right in the head, basically, because it was every 3 days. So you get there one day, you're not comfortable there. The second day you're there, you start to get a little comfortable, and then the third day, when you're actually about to
settle in,
be there, you go to the new house, and it starts all over again every 3 days.
Yeah, man, I completely understand that situation because my parents got divorced as well. It seems to be the common thing for our generation.
Yeah, which it sucks. But so the way my first game I ever played was actually the very first Mario. Like just the very first Mario, and you can have a second player on the Nintendo 64? No, Super Nintendo.
Wait,
yeah,
it was
I think it
what?
was Super Nintendo, like the very absolute first Mario game.
The first Mario? I didn't fucking play that.
Well, it's because my dad had that console and he gave it to me when he got the 64. He gave it to me so I can have it in my room. And so that was like the first game I played, and then ever since then, every time, so pretty much video games became like, that was my comfort place. That was the only place.
It was the same no matter which house you was at.
No matter which house I was at, that was how I felt comfortable.
Yeah, that was basically your one constant.
By playing video games, that was pretty much my way out from everything that was actually going on in real life. That was my way to get away from that and not have to deal with that. So that became my comfort zone, basically. That became my comfort, and then obviously I'm still here playing games. It's what's made me comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I completely get that.
So it's not like, it's not very like how Cat was. It's like, oh, I've always loved this, and then I always play with people. It's not how it was for me. It was just, that was what I did because of what was going on. That was just how I was comfortable.
That's crazy. I mean, me and you both started on the same console too. We started on the same console. I didn't play that. I didn't play the first Mario, but I did play this game called Mystic Quest. It was Mystic Quest. Fantasy. I didn't know it was a damn Final Fantasy game until recently. But that's the first game that I played. I played it all the way through. It was an RPG, and it was amazing. Turn-based too.
Yeah, so that's what got me pretty much hooked on playing video games, just because that was my comfort area. That's how I could feel. I'd feel not always on edge, because like it really does suck being grown up like that, just for the pure fact of like, you don't know, and you constantly would get in trouble because one thing would be okay at this parent's house, but it's not okay at this parent's house, and you can't do that and all this other stuff. So it's like, so while I was playing video games, it was where I didn't get in trouble, I didn't get yelled at for something, and like everything was in my head when I played video games was fine. Everything was fine, nothing was the matter. And which would kind of suck, which would also suck at the same time, because a lot of games have dealt with like family and stuff like that. Like, oh, you need to save your family, you need to save your daughter from this, or you need to save your wife from this. Somebody took your pet or something like that. And so those games would kind of at the same time hurt at the same time.
But at least it was a constant for you were able to do at either house and get that little escape for whatever time you were able to play.
Yeah, it's basically that's it. But then if you go on further, what made me want to start doing like Like, what made you want to start doing like this as a potential when you're a little kid, you don't know that you could do this as a job.
Right.
You wish you could.
I mean, you
But
even
what
told
really
back then
started
it wasn't because
Yeah.
there wasn't.
At our time, video games were just a thing that you played in your spare time. It wasn't to make money or anything like that. But then as we grew up longer, we're like, hey, we can actually do this as a fucking job? Like, really?
Yep.
And so that really, what kind of started that was actually playing Call of Duty, because that's one of the games that I'm like super really good at the game. Like, and you guys have seen me play COD. You guys have seen the clips and stuff that I've gotten and posted on our Instagrams and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we know what you can do.
You guys have seen that video. Like, that's one of those games that I can always go back to. I'm really good at the game. So it's like, if I can do this, and I can do better than the average person. It's good. It makes you think, like, maybe I can do this, like, for something else besides just playing a game.
Yep, exactly. And that's something that we all have in common.
A lot of talent, bro. A lot of talent.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, okay, go ahead.
going along with some new topics. These last few have gotten kind of dark, bro.
Yeah.
Rob got dark.
I warned you early.
Shadow got dark.
Hey, it's the truth.
That was gonna happen.
So
I was
I'm
trying
just
not
curious,
to do
you
the
know,
dark.
You guys have like like animals, you know, like dogs, cats, like turtles. I remember growing up, I had this turtle, bro. He went everywhere with me, man. Like, this turtle was
I
my
love
homie.
turtles.
Like, he was so small, bro, but like he was like the chillest turtle ever.
I never had a turtle before.
I had a turtle.
I had a turtle too. I've had a turtle too.
I had a bearded
His
dragon.
name was Shelly. I also had a bearded dragon.
His name was Leonidas.
Leonidas.
mine
That is a
named him Hero.
That is a name.
Oh,
Leonidas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
My bearded dragon's name was Mushu.
Oh wow,
Of
that's
course.
a better one.
Yep, of course. Why did I know that was coming?
Dishonor
That's a
on
better
you,
one.
dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow.
Yep.
I got a drink of water on that one. I was dying.
But okay, and unless you got some more questions on the list, Demon, I think we'll be moving on to the game review.
I'm down to hit up some games.
Alrighty. Let me switch over to this scene. Game review. Boom! There it is. Everything all set up and in place. Okay. Dead by Daylight. Now, this game's been out for a while. We brought a specialist for you. Exile Cat knows everything there is to know about the game.
Hello.
Cat, how would you rate this game on 1 to 10?
1 to 10, definitely a 9.5. It's definitely up there on my scale.
That's high numbers.
It's pretty high. Yeah.
But I'm prejudiced because I've been playing this so long and I loved the game and I loved the concept. For other people, though, I have heard that they rated a solid 5 or 6. The highest I've heard is somebody say a 7. But that's because they don't understand that there's more incorporated in the game than just surviving or killing.
Okay, like what else?
Well, okay. The killer has one main goal, and that is to hook as many survivors as they can and sacrifice them. Now, the survivor's main goal is to avoid getting hooked at all cost. You have basically 3 chances if you're quick enough to get off the hook, or you only die with 2 chances of getting hooked. The reason being for that is that it does give you an opportunity to make it through to the end of the game, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a lot of sense. Your survivors are typically going to want to do a list of things. You either have your survivor that's dedicated to the generators and repairing those. You have one person running around as bait, trying to bait the killer and basically loop around, which buys the person fixing the generator a lot more time because they don't have to worry about a killer breathing down their neck and coming in to wreck up their shit.
Oh.
You also have your one that will go in for any of the saves. Like if bait gets hooked, you have somebody on standby that's ready to go and unhook them and heal them up. It's a big teamwork aspect, which most people, you know, they don't think like that. They just want to go, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to do this, I'm going to survive, and that's just not the case. Because if you go in with that mentality, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to get off the hook and then immediately get mementoed, or you're not going to get saved off the hook because everybody doesn't want to work with you because you're not being a team player.
Oh, so this game in its structure is kind of like Evolve, because that's a game that I've played. That it sounds.
Definitely.
I mean, obviously they don't have guns and stuff, but you got to work together to survive the killer.
Yeah, basically, all of your killers come with their strengths. They also come with their weaknesses too. Like some people think that what is she called? The Huntress was overpowered when she first came out because she could throw a hatchet across the fucking map and hit you. But the hitbox to do that is so fucking small, and you have to like be very precise with the angle of you fucking throwing it, or you've just wasted an axe. There's no way to get them back once you use those, unless you have a special skill that allows her to do that.
Oh,
Not
okay.
only is it very team heavy, but you also have to have the right build. So if you go over and you're playing as a survivor, one of the first things you may see when you're starting up is you're going to see what's called a blood web, and you're going to see a loadout. Your blood web, you pour blood points into to basically get more skills, more items and stuff, and your items can consist of skeleton keys or keys in general. Skeleton key is just the best key that you can get, which can unlock the hatch after you fix a certain amount of generators. You get your toolboxes, which will help you with your repair, but it can also help you with sabotaging hooks. And sabotaging hooks means that that hook becomes unavailable for the killer for a certain amount of time, and they can't hook anybody.
So that would be
also
a good
have your-
person. A good position to use that in would be the bait, right? If you're the person
Definitely.
running around.
Bait will 9 times out of 10, if they're not immediately aggroed with the killer and the killer isn't chasing them down, sometimes they'll run around and they'll sabotage hooks, and they'll find little things in the map that we call loops. Loops consist of drops. So on your map you have places where you can drop down, but you can also climb back up, and if you do this fast enough and you have enough distance from the killer, it's an endless loop that the killer will sometimes get themselves trapped inside of.
Oh shit.
It's
That way everybody
literally
has
the
plenty of
killer-
time to fix the generators and do all the other stuff.
Exactly, because sometimes killers get into this mindset of what I call tunnel vision. They're so hell-bent on killing this one person that they don't realize until it's down to the last generator that they've just wasted a lot of time where they could have gotten other people. Because they're just chasing this one person just because they're pissing him off that much. When you're the killer, you don't have time to do that. You have to think about, is it worth the chase? What's the surroundings? Can I get caught in a loop? Is there somebody fixing a generator nearby? The game also has little things and little mechanisms that survivors and the killer can use. I'm sure you've noticed if you ever played, if you walk by a rock with crows on it, crows will caw.
No,
That's a
basically
little
letting the killer
audio
know where you
hint
are.
to exactly. You also have the little grunts and groans of pain from people who have just gotten off the hook or got hit by the killer that your survivor will make if you don't run the certain skills to kind of mediate that. There are skills that you can get from other survivors after you reach a certain cap that you can put onto your main survivor. Builds are everything, and builds you really want to read the fine print, because sometimes your builds can overlap onto one another and null it out.
Damn. You piled it on. I told y'all she was an expert, okay? How many Dead by Daylight games are there? Are there any new ones coming out, or are there more than just one?
There is only one Dead by Daylight game as far as I'm aware, and to keep it new, it's always new maps, new killers, and new survivors. So you can kind of get a feel that it's one game, but it branches over other stories and aspects.
Yeah, that seems to be what all games are doing at this point. Now I'm looking at the images from the game, and it really reminds me of that killer game with Jason. Are they considered the same game type? Is this a specific game type that I don't know about, or is it just called a horror game or a survival, or I don't know the actual genre of this of Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight.
Of Dead by Daylight, I believe the genre for Dead by Daylight is English. Apparently, is not my first language, even though I grew up.
Oof! Somebody shitted over here. Oh my god! All right. I'm going to have to pause the stream for a second because I got a new puppy and she's in the little kennel behind me and I smell shit, so I got to take care of it. Give me 1 second. I can keep it up and just mute my mic if you want to go ahead with the questions for the rest of this game review, Demon, and then when I come back we can move over to the anime review and on to the show review. And then continue on.
So,
for sure.
All right.
Basically, Dead by Daylight is known as a asymmetric horror video game, if that makes sense.
I don't know that word, but I get.
To put it simply, asymmetrical multiplayer is a type of gameplay where players can significantly have different roles and abilities and things that they do. Think about it like a game that requires you to use teamwork in order to advance to the next stage, so to say.
Right. So, like a
'cause this game
survival
definitely
with strategy.
Oh, definitely. Strategy plays the biggest part. If you're not working as a team, you're gonna get slaughtered. Because one of the biggest things as a killer, one of the biggest things as a killer is to utilize the weaknesses and take advantage of them.
Right.
Killer has a lot of stress on their shoulders because they have to take into account for how long is chasing, where are the hooks located, where are the generators located, all of this. Like, they have to have full map awareness. And kind of sound whore a little bit, too.
Oh, yeah. So, more of that kind of like just like some regular questions, not really towards like a game or anything like that. But I do have a question for both of you guys, So you two were basically like the first ones, with internship and like, things I'm working towards like becoming an admin. So I was just kind of curious of like your guys' experiences, like how things work more behind the scenes.
Ooh. There's a lot behind the scenes. You wouldn't think that, but there's a lot of aspects into it. Definitely if you're looking to be a squire, it's like selling yourself, so to say. It's the best way that I can phrase it. You really got to stick out because I didn't realize how many other people were looking to be a squire until I had started my journey, so to say, in becoming one, and I was like, holy fuck, I have to prostitute myself like I'm on the black market. Let's go. Really stand out.
That is
See,
a
I'm a
way
girl,
to describe
I have
that.
Tits.
That is a way to describe that I was not expected to go that direction. It's a great analogy, but I wasn't ready for it. It's the only thing.
Then.
Well, no kidding. Yes. You loved my analogy, don't lie.
Oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing analogy that I just was not ready for. The whole thing behind it, I
Caught
just
you
wasn't
off
ready.
guard.
Yeah, you caught me way off guard on that. But it's amazing.
That's the point, though. That's the point, though. There's a lot of trolling, I will say, behind the scenes. Like, it wouldn't seem like it because we, you know, I don't know about myself because I've been trolling this whole entire time. Whereas all of you have sound very prime and proper and professional.
Don't get it twisted.
It gets worse. If you join the Discord or if you join our party where there's literally nothing going on and nothing important, it's worse. You join a party, you open Pandora's box, you come in and you just hear us cracking on Venom about him being the slut of Exiled, cracking on Demon for running off like fucking Lifeline, just fucking yeeting and not saying a single word until you look at the map and you see that he's halfway across the bitch. Like, where did you go? I'm out.
Put on them Nike flights, bro.
Definitely, it gets a little bit nitty-gritty. Like, there is drama. I mean, every other clan has their drama, has their times and moments where it's like a little bit of beef going on. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're all just a family, and we love each other. No homo, though. I mean, I don't know for Venom, but...
Yeah, he's a little questionable at the moment.
I'm pretty sure Venom came out in the last one. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm pretty... It was borderline, definitely. Like, if the lines were drawn, they were crossed a
Pretty
long
sure
time
it was
ago.
confirmed. It was confirmed.
Pretty sure. Pretty sure. However, we don't know. I'm just saying. You'd think spending that much time in the closet, he'd be a little bit more well dressed. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you can't. Well, maybe. It's
Come
Venom
on,
we're
you
talking.
grew
It's
up
Venom
in
we're
the-
talking about.
You grew
though.
up in the closet that long, and you're telling me you don't come out
Doesn't
with a
mean you
sense
can-
of like how to dress yourself and not look like you're a slob working for Walmart. Come on.
That doesn't mean you could see in the closet.
You don't even work for Walmart, though.
Just him and
I'm
Jill at home.
killing Demon. I'm gonna go to jail for manslaughter. This man's gonna piss himself and then cry mommy, and I'm gonna go to fucking jail for beating up a
Whoa.
retard.
Whoa. I don't know what we're talking about here.
Sure you don't.
Honey, when do you ever?
That's true. That's real true.
I have no clue. Where's the Sonic meme at?
Ah.
Oh, that's funny.
And this is
So-
why we love Demon.
Like to mess with
Nothing else.
Appreciate
It's just this right here.
Anyway, going forward with some more stuff for the podcast, you know, so we can keep these people entertained. You guys have any other hobbies, you know, apart from gaming?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good. You
Can
can go.
explain
You can go
these
first, Kat.
hobbies, you know?
You can go first, Kat.
I like to do the cha-cha. I'm just kidding.
You can hold her.
I like music.
She's cold, so
a
you need to
lot.
wrap her up.
I like to sing. I'm definitely very artsy. in case
No, that
you've
one's
ever,
dirty.
Like, taken a peep at my personal Instagram. I'm very much artsy.
I have not.
Alright.
I have not.
Same.
Dare
Same.
you?
I have
How
not.
And I'm
I
back.
only know of the gaming one. It's the only one I know of.
Yeah. I mean, still, at
Guess
the end of
who's
the day,
not
I mean,
getting
that's
my
content,
follow?
you know. What better way to share
sorry.
it?
Alright, boys and
Yeah,
girls.
what do you mean artsy?
I like to do writing a lot, in case I haven't mentioned that through my prior conversations of loving Dungeons and Dragons. I also love to do digital artwork. I also primarily will do physical artwork, like painting or sketching or coloring. I don't know. I'm just an artsy
So you're
person.
that type of because I ask because artsy can mean abundance of different things.
You love the art
Creative.
of cheesecake.
I like.
Yes, the art of cheesecake.
No, you're not allowed to say you love the art of cheesecake. You allergic, you die.
He's
No
like
dying
nothing but
for you.
truth.
You're not allowed. Motherfucker.
Hey, at least I gotta say, bro, is that if we do get like some sort of like club shore house or something, bro, and Blur's there, at least I know he ain't the one that ate the fucking cheesecake, bro.
Yup. I'm
Pissed. Yo.
Or maybe he did with the EpiPen right next to him.
He's sitting there. Well, I know I'm safe.
How do you know it's not him? Because he can't eat it.
What is wrong with you, Coco? Get down here. Go. Move down.
And to go off of what Kat said about being artsy is, I'm actually the same way, but a different form of it.
He likes making the muzak.
Yes, I
resonate with that.
I have played. Well, yeah, I know you resonate with that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because you do, because you sing, because you rap. What I do, I like to make more EDM and hip hop beats is what I like to make.
Young
I write
Skrillex
lyrics.
in the making.
I write lyrics, and I've also played an instrument since I was in, God, I want to say probably 4th grade.
Oh damn!
Was when I started playing instruments. My list of instruments that I know how to play are 5 different types of saxophones. I know how to play clarinet, trumpet. I know how to play bass. I know how to play most of the percussion in a concert band style.
You had me at saxophone. God damn.
Yeah. I own 5 saxophones.
Really? That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
My grandpa played the saxophone, and my uncle's actually famous for playing it. Eric Person.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a jazz, I guess, legend now.
I love playing jazz. Jazz is one of my favorite things to play.
Yeah, that's his genre.
And to be in, and actually, since you said something about jazz, I've actually, because you know how in high school they would allow you to do, your band director would take like either like the jazz band or like a concert band or something like that, and like take them to like festivals and stuff like that. Like I've been to probably over 16, no, probably over 20.
Eat some
over
chips.
20 different types of festivals, including 2 of them.
That's not
being
food
state
either. Go.
and national.
If you're hungry, go eat some shit that you be eating when all the kids are here.
against
Go.
Other schools from around the country and not just the state. Winning first place for marching band in Arizona. Out of all the schools in Arizona, we actually won and got to play in the 4th of July parade in Washington D.C. My freshman year.
Ooh.
Oh, that's dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah, and then we took 2nd place in national jazz.
Damn, bro. That's some good shit.
Festival. We had 2nd place, and we only lost by 2 points. We lost by 2 points to another school.
Hell yeah.
God damn.
But yeah, music is pretty much my second escape from video games. So it's been something that's been part of my life, which is funny because I never wanted to do it. I never wanted to be in band or play an instrument, but my dad actually forced me to do it, and I ended up liking it.
Hey, well, that's what's up, bro. Music is a great escape. It's very healthy, and I do it as well. I want to thank you for coming and explaining everything you've explained. Thank you for telling us who you are. Kat, thank you for your expertise on Dead by Daylight. Thank you for letting us know who you are as well. And thank you guys for coming to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this clan origin. We really went even more in depth than usual. I'm thankful. And now we're going to be moving on to the anime review. So Shadow and Kat, thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
Where is it? Here. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're now moving into the anime section, the anime review. It's a new section that we've added in. How I got reincarnated as a slime. Now, you look at the name, and I guess you can have a bunch of assumptions of how dumb it could be, but it is an amazing show. Basically, the premise of the show is a man living a normal life dies trying to be a hero in his regular life and wakes up in this alternate reality where he's basically able to tell this system whatever he wants to be in this world. So since he was an average person who wanted to be a hero in another world, in this world, he's able to do that. He tells her all the powers that he wants to have. He tells this system inputs him into the world as a ball of slime, but a ball of slime with all these amazing powers that come with it. A stomach that has no type of what do you call it? It's like a galaxy inside of his stomach, so he can swallow up whatever he wants. But in that, he also has a number of other powers that he asks for when he talks to the system. So in this world, when everybody else looks at him, he appears to be a level 1 slime that's weak and can be instantly killed. You know, like a farm, like something that you would farm in ESO or, you know, any other type of world game. Yo, what's up, J-Slip? How you doing? And he winds up making all these different friends, swallowing up all these different people, and everybody that he swallows up, they don't die, but he gets their powers. You know what I'm saying? He basically saves them from their prisons or, you know, and liberates this world as he's going along. It's really dope, very action-packed, very funny, everything that you would want in an anime. Have any of you guys seen it? You got to check it out, man.
I have not.
It's amazing. I watch it on Crunchyroll. I really only watch anime on Crunchyroll or Netflix and Hulu. Kind of don't branch out too far from those, but it's very good. So be on the lookout for it. This anime sounds interesting. Yeah, J-Slip, definitely check it out, man. As you can see, like a couple of these or his transformations, like that person with the blue hair, that's him as well. He shapeshifts from the slime ball. Like you can see in one of the fights, he turns into the slime ball to bounce, to move along. Okay, I got you. That dragon is the first person that he meets in the whole thing, and the dragon's like trapped inside this ice prison because he's so powerful. And he swallows the entire prison. He said, you could just come with me, because he can talk to him still inside of his body and shit. It's just amazing. It's one that's kind of really original in its own right, and it should definitely be given a watch. All right. Let's move on to some more savage shit. We're going to jump into the TV show review. I'm going to let my man's Demon take it from here.
Fucking Peaky Blinders, man.
Fucking Peaky Blinders!
Come here, girl. This is my little baby.
For those who haven't seen it, you know, especially for those who haven't seen it, if you have, I absolutely 100%, the show is amazing. But for those that haven't, basically the Peaky Blinders is about a show that lives in Birmingham, England around like the 1920s, you know, so the Industrial Revolution's going on, you know, like a huge great war just happened over there between France and all of that, you know. And they were basically like on the front lines of this war. And they all, you know, come back to Birmingham, and everything over at that time, you know, it was a lot of mafia families, you know, Italians run a lot of stuff over there, you know, a lot of crime families. And with the Peaky Blinders, you know, they were a little bit different with stuff, you know, because they were also like very Christian, you know, with all of that, with how everything is, you know, was within that area of the world. But also, you know, half their family was gypsy. So they had a lot of ties to like Romania and like a lot of gods and curses, you know, and a lot of things really played in with their life.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of diversity, you know, within their family. You know, they were one of the first ones out there.
This is on some 1920s straight up mafia gangster shit. Like, they called the Peaky Blinders because they carry a razor blade in those hats. Did you see them wearing right there? The fucking, I want to call it a damn Kango because I see the Kango buckets and the Kango fucking hats like that. But basically, they kept it in the brim.
Hats.
Yeah, yeah. And they kept it in the brim. And they slashed your eyes out. That's what they did. That's why they were called the Peaky Blinders. They blinded your ass if you disrespected them. Or if you didn't go along with their way. It was an amazing show. And I think it's over now. It had 3 solid-ass seasons, which were amazing. They're basically, the Peaky Blinders are mostly family. You know what I'm saying? Basically all family. Because if you're in with them, they're going to consider you family and treat you like it. But if you're a fucking enemy, you're going to get all of them. Gypsies and all. Fucking, it was just an amazingly fucking paperboy hats. Yeah, there you go, J-Slip. The paperboy hats. I just like, and I like, you know, even though it was this time, 1920, these motherfuckers were coming up poor and shit. They all got suits on, dog. Like, you ain't got no money, but you got a clean ass suit. And like, he stayed dressing like that even when he came into power. Like, even when he was like really powerful in the show, him and his group, Tommy Shelby and Peaky Blinders, they still dressed clean all the way up to the top. They never looked like criminals. You know what I'm saying?
It's classy with it.
Yeah, but classy with it, real classy with it. Damn. Okay. So that's it for Peaky Blinders, right? You got anything else for it?
Other than, you know, like the storytelling of the show, you know, it goes really in depth, and you get to see a lot of the stuff that, like, you know, like the war did to, you know, a lot of the people. Like,
yeah, you get to see what it did to their communities, their jobs, why the Peaky Blinders had to be such a defining circumstance in their situation that they were in Birmingham. He took care of them people.
Oh yeah. It's on Netflix for those who aren't aware, but it won like multiple awards when it came out. I mean, it started in like 2013, and people waited like years for season 2, bro.
Yeah, years, literally. I was like, damn, is this show done? I actually looked up to see if it was over and like didn't have funding or if they cut the show in general, but it just took them that long to make it. Really action-packed scenes. They traveled a lot in that last season too. He went to Ireland, Scotland, goddamn, he went to Europe. I mean, he was already in Europe. What am I talking about? But you know what I mean. Like, he did a lot of traveling in that one. Went on a couple hiatuses and shit.
5 seasons of binge watching, that is worth it.
You know, if you wanna wonder how his luck is when it comes to women, all you gotta do is watch The Last Kingdom. It's basically the same shit when it comes to, yeah, their haircuts are clean, right? They look clean all the time, even though they were fucking, in the beginning they were broke. They had to take everything, and then they used what they took to build their community up around them. It was nice. On some Al Capone shit. But yeah. So that's Peaky Blinders. If you haven't watched it, that's another show. We're not going to tell you guys anything on here that's going to waste your time. It's going to be savage. It's going to be fucking dope. So definitely peep it. Definitely check it out. Future events. All right, moving on to our final section. I don't think we missed anything. I don't think we left anybody out. Okay. Y'all already know. The Call of Duty 3v3 Search and Destroy CDL rules on July 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is going to be... Oh. July 3rd, my bad. July 10th. I fucking got this shit wrong. Hold on, let me change it real quick, you know? Little fuck ups here and there. Gotta love it. I had to like write it down. All right, July 3rd. Wait. That's already over. All right. July 10th. You see that? It never happened. The mistake never happened. July 10th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to play some Call of Duty. We also have a Pokemon tournament. Our very first one, along with our very first COD tournament. Our very first Pokemon tournament, July 13th. The rules are in the Discord, and if you'd like to sign up for these events, you can do so via the Exile Warborn Discord. If you need a link for that, I'm going to be posting it in the chat now. Discord. Oh, what the dog shit? It's going to make me do this? Okay, well, anyway, just hit an exclamation point Discord, and that link will pop right up for you. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I want to thank my co-host, Demon, for being here with me every week. I want to thank Shadow and Kat for being here today. And I want to thank you guys for watching and supporting. Y'all have a good one. Stay savage.